The science or the study that deals with transmission of genetic information from parents to the offsprings is called heredity. So, now what we are going to study is the heredity. The father of genetics, as it is called, is the most important person who was able to have a breakthrough in as far as back in 19th century. There was an Austrian monk called Gregor Mendel. He was a monk, and he wanted to be a teacher. He tried, but he failed. But failure did not deter his determination. He wanted to do something in science because he had studied science and maths. So he did his experiments on his own. He grew pea plants and used his mathematical mind to draw certain conclusions regarding the pattern of inheritance. And with which plant? Pea plant. Before him also many people had worked on pea plant, but his conclusions, his hypothesis is relevant even today. So that is why he is called the father of genetics. Now, going back to Mendel and his laws, which are famously called the Mendelian laws or the laws of inheritance, we will get into how he actually reached these conclusions. I will not give you straight away the conclusions. So, what he did, he took two types of pea plant, one tall and the other dwarf. And for making it simple, he used the abbreviation of T, capital T for tall and small t for dwarf, and then he crossbred these two. In other features, these two plants were similar. There was only one difference, and that was in height. So, what he found, in the first generation, the plants were tall. This he termed as F1 or the first filial generation, filial. Now, he did not know when he grew the plant, he did not know whether it is TT or not, he just knew that it is a tall plant, just like one of the parents. But the question was, are these tall plants, which are say the parental generation, same as that of tall plants of F1 generation? He did not know. So, what he did? Because he was a scientist, the only way he had with him was experiment. So, he self-pollinated parental generation and he also self-pollinated the first filial generation. And see what he found. He found again all these plants were tall, but the results of F1 generation were different. Here 3 plants were tall and 1 plant was dwarf. Or in other words, if we make a table, it was like this. When the F1 generation gametes separated, some carried capital T while others carried small t. So, when the two combined, these were tall, this was also tall. But one was dwarf. And these two tall, again when he self-pollinated, gave the ratio of 3:1. That means these two tall were different from this one. And now we know the reason, because they also carry the gene for dwarfness. So, we can say that the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. This is genotypic ratio, while the phenotypic, which means what is visible, was 3:1.